Hallo Devendra. Welcome back to Module 4, our Everyday Grammar Toolkit. I'm Maria, your guide on this exciting German learning journey. How are you doing today?
Hello, Maria. I'm great, thank you. Ready for another lesson. I've been practicing our previous greetings and introductions, and I'm feeling a bit more confident. It's amazing how much I've learned on Langmetra already.
That's fantastic to hear, Devendra. Your dedication is truly paying off. Last time, we focused on making positive statements and asking simple questions. We learned how to say things like, Ich bin Student, meaning, I am a student, or Ist das Kaffee, meaning, is that coffee? But what if the answer is no? What if you're not a student, or it's not coffee? That's exactly what we're tackling today, negation nation. We're going to learn how to say no and not naturally in German, without stress. We'll cover the 3 essentials, Nein, Nicht, and kein.
Oh, that's something I've been wondering about. In English, we mostly just use not or no. Are there different rules for different situations in German, Maria?
Excellent question, Devendra. And yes, there are. German distinguishes between negating a general idea, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb, versus negating a specific noun. It might seem like a lot at first, but once you grasp the core idea, it becomes very intuitive. Let's start with the simplest one, Nein. Nein is straightforward, just like no in English. You use it as a standalone answer to a yes or no question. For example, if someone asks you, Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Meaning, do you speak German? And you don't, you can simply say, Nein. Can you try saying that for me, Devendra?
Nein, meaning no.
Perfect. That's it. Simple, clear, direct. Now let's move on to Nicht. This is where things get a little more nuanced. Nicht is primarily used to negate verbs, adjectives, adverbs, or specific parts of a sentence. Think of it as not in English. So if you want to say, I don't speak German, you'd use nicht. The sentence is, Ich spreche nicht Deutsch, meaning, I speak not German, I don't speak German. Notice the placement, Devendra. Nicht usually comes after the verb, often towards the end of the sentence, or directly before the word it's negating, if it's an adjective or adverb.
So it's not always at the very end. Can you give me an example with an adjective, Maria?
Absolutely, Devendra. Let's say you want to say, that is not good. In German, that would be, das ist nicht gut, meaning, that is not good. Here, nicht comes right before the adjective gut, meaning good, or with an adverb like heute, meaning today. Kommt nicht heute, meaning he comes not today, he isn't coming today. Here, nicht comes before heute because it's negating the timing. The general rule of thumb is, if it's negating the whole verb or idea, it's usually at the end. If it's negating a specific adjective, adverb, or part of the sentence, it comes before that word or phrase. Let's try some pronunciation. Can you repeat after me? Nicht.
Nicht.
Good. Try to make that ch sound like the H in huge or the ch in Bach. Let's try again. Nicht.
Nicht.
Let's pause here for a moment. Take a breath. Let those words settle. Excellent. Much clearer. Now let's try a full sentence. Ich spreche nicht Deutsch, meaning I don't speak German.
Ich spreche nicht Deutsch.
Wonderful, Devendra. You've got the rhythm. Now let's practice a bit more. Imagine you're at a hotel. The receptionist asks you, Sprechen Sie Französisch? Meaning, do you speak French? How would you politely say you don't?
I'd probably say, Nein, ich spreche nicht Französisch, meaning, no, I don't speak French.
That's perfect, Devendra. You used both Nein as a direct answer and then Nicht to negate the verb spreche. You're already combining them naturally. Now, what if someone offers you a very strong coffee and you prefer something mild? They ask, is their coffee strong? Meaning, is the coffee strong? And you want to say, no, it's not strong.
Nein, der Kaffee ist stark nicht. Is that right, Maria?
Good attempt, Devendra. You're almost there. Remember our rule for negating adjectives? Nicht goes directly before the adjective it's negating. So it would be, Nein, der Kaffee ist nicht stark. Meaning, no, the coffee is not strong. Can you try that?
Ah, I see. Nein, der Kaffee ist nicht stark. Meaning, no, the coffee is not strong.
Much better. You've got it. See? You're getting better each time, Devendra. This is a common point of confusion, so don't worry. Just remember, nicht often hugs the word it's negating when it's an adjective or adverb. You're making excellent progress. Now, let's introduce our third essential negation word, kein. This one is used to negate nouns, especially indefinite nouns, meaning nouns with a or an in English, or nouns without an article. Think of kein as no or not a an in English. It's essentially the negative form of the indefinite article ein, eine. And just like ein, eine, kein changes its ending depending on the gender and case of the noun it's negating. This is super important, Devendra.
Oh, so it's like how ein becomes einen for masculine nouns in the accusative case. That's what we learned a few lessons ago, Maria.
Exactly, Devendra. You've made the connection. That's your aha moment right there. You're absolutely right. Kein works the same way. So for a masculine noun like der Hund, meaning the dog, if you have a dog, it's ein Hund. If you have no dog or not a dog, it's kein Hund. If you see a dog, meaning accusative, it's einen Hund. If you see no dog, it's keinen Hund. For feminine nouns like die Katze, meaning the cat, it's eine Katze, meaning a cat, and keine Katze, meaning no cat. For neuter nouns like das Auto, meaning the car, it's ein Auto, meaning a car, and kein Auto, meaning no car. And for plural nouns, which don't have an indefinite article, you always use keine. For example, Kinder, meaning children, becomes keine Kinder, meaning no children. Let's try some examples. I have a car, meaning I have a car. How would you say, I have no car, Devendra?
Ich habe kein Auto, meaning I have no car.
Perfect. Now for a feminine noun. That is a question, meaning that is no question.
That is keine Frage, meaning that is no question.
Let's pause here for a moment. Take a breath. Let those words settle.
Excellent. You're nailing the gender agreement. Now, let's try the accusative case. Remember einen for masculine accusative? How would you say, I don't have a brother? The word for brother is Bruder, meaning masculine. So it would be ich habe einen Bruder for I have a brother. So for I don't have a brother, it's ich habe keinen Bruder, meaning I have no brother. Bravo, Devendra. That was spot on. You correctly applied the accusative ending nen to kein. That's a huge step forward. You're combining previous knowledge with today's lesson, which is exactly what we want to see. Remember, you can always review the declension tables for kein on Langmitra's vocabulary section if you need a quick refresher. Now, let's delve a little into the cultural aspect of negation in German. Germans are often perceived as very direct, and this can sometimes be misunderstood by speakers of other languages, especially those from cultures where indirect communication is more common. In German, saying a direct Nein is perfectly acceptable and often preferred for clarity. It's not usually considered rude, but rather efficient. However, just like in English, you can soften a refusal. For example, adding leider, meaning unfortunately, makes it more polite. So instead of just Nein, ich habe keine Zeit, meaning no, I have no time, you could say leider habe ich keine Zeit, meaning unfortunately, I have no time. Or tut mir leid, ich kann nicht kommen, meaning I'm sorry, I cannot come. That's really interesting, Maria. In my culture, we often try to find softer ways to refuse something, sometimes even making up an excuse to avoid a direct no. The directness of German sounds very practical, but I can see how it might take some getting used to for people from more indirect cultures. Absolutely, Devendra. It's a great example of how language reflects culture. German values clarity and precision, which often translates into direct communication. But knowing these little softening phrases like leider or tut mir leid can help you navigate social situations smoothly. It's not about being less direct, but about adding a touch of empathy. You're doing great grasping these nuances, Devendra. All right, Devendra, let's bring it all together with some rapid-fire practice. I'll give you a German word or phrase, and I want you to tell me its English meaning, and then try to use Nicht or kein with it. Ready? Ready, Maria. First one, Geld, meaning money. Geld means money. Ich habe kein Geld, meaning I have no money. Excellent. You remembered it's a noun, so kein. Next, müde, meaning tired. Müde means tired. Ich bin nicht müde,
meaning I am not tired. Perfect again. That's an adjective, so nicht. How about Problem, meaning problem? Problem is problem. Das ist kein Problem, meaning that is no problem. Superb. And finally, hier, meaning here. Here means here. Ist nicht hier, meaning he is not here. Fantastic, Devendra. Compare how you said nicht and kein at the beginning versus now. Huge difference. Your pronunciation is clearer, and your understanding of when to use which word is really solidifying. You've truly come a long way in this lesson. Thanks, Maria. It really helps to practice it out loud and get your feedback. I feel much more confident now about saying no in German. That's wonderful to hear. Remember, consistency is key. Make sure to review your study cards after this lesson for all the new vocabulary, grammar points, and cultural insights we discussed. And try the practice exercises on Langmitra to really solidify your pronunciation and test your understanding. So today, Devendra, we conquered negation nation. We learned how to use nein for a simple no, nicht for negating verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and kein, keinen for negating nouns, remembering to match the gender and case. You've done an incredible job navigating these tricky waters. Thank you, Maria. It all makes so much more sense now. I really appreciate the clear explanations and practice. You're most welcome, Devendra. Keep up the amazing work. Next time, we'll build on this by exploring how to ask more complex questions using question words like who, what, and where, which will open up even more conversational possibilities for you. It's going to be another exciting lesson. Until then, keep practicing, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next episode. Tschüss. Tschüss, Maria. See you next time. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a breath. Let those words settle.
Before we recap, one quick ask. What worked for you in this lesson? What felt hard? And what topic should we teach next? Drop it in the comments. Your feedback shapes what we build next.
One language sets you in a corridor for life. Learn language with podcast. Subscribe.